What's up, YouTube? It's Rochelle Tannen. It's 10:42 p.m., December 30th, 2023. I'm back with my second video. And I want to make sure I did this video before the end of the new year. And guys, I'm going back into my negative mode. I am negative, I'm hating, and what for this video? I made a video about a year or so ago talking about the Breakfast Club up there in New York. I believe they're 105 point something with Angela Yee, DJ Envy, and Charlemagne the God. And I said in that video that these three are Hot 97.1 rejects and they all need to shut the fuck up. And now I'm back almost a year or two later and I'm going to say the same thing. Charlemagne the God, can you please shut the fuck up? Now, since the last time I talked about these three clowns, all three of them involved in something. I forgot what Angela Yee was involved in. I think someone went off on her because she got smart. DJ Envy, and I said this before, I'm originally from Connecticut. I remember DJ Envy's mixed CDs back in the day because I bought a few of them before that ugly mug of his was on radio, because radio has a face now. But he's a con artist. He just got caught up in some real estate scam. And Charlemagne the God, I hope this makes it to him. Please shut the fuck up. Now, I haven't talked about these clowns in a while. But in the last few weeks, Charlemagne the God's talking about Joe Biden and don't rerun and all this other stuff. Charlemagne the God and Cardi B, those two people, shouldn't say anything in 2024 pertaining to whoever votes for whoever. Charlemagne the God is such a fucking, and I very seldom use this term, but if you want to see the definition of an Uncle Tom, he's it. Not someone like Larry Elder, who he tried to embarrass almost a year ago, the OG Mr. Elder. Not a black person saying black families should be together or black people need to get it together. That nigga's an Uncle Tom. Any black man from South Carolina or from the South in general that could let a white man, a racist white man like Biden, and this is all on record. This isn't nothing I'm making up. Biden's out of Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania or Delaware, which arguably is pretty much the same state. But this is all on record with Joe Biden. This shit started way before a lot of us were born or when we were little kids. I remember Joe Biden from the 80s and the 90s writing them crime bills. Joe Biden's been an overt racist since he was a young man. Y'all talked about Trump and this one and that one. Joe Biden's been an overt racist, and he proved it even in his old age. Like he told Charlemagne the God, if you're not voting for me, you ain't black. I'll never forget that, because I don't give a fuck if a black man or woman vote for the Moon Man from MTV. No white person or any nationality of person should be told to be able to tell a black person of this nation how to vote. And the fact that Charlemagne God let that white man sit there and pretty much fucking call him a nigga in his face, and he didn't say a fucking word, but then he'll turn around and ask Mr. Elder about nigga wake up call and all this. Nigga, you are so bottom of the barrel. Charlemagne the God is so bottom of the barrel. I don't know how he got into 105. I don't know what the big hubbub for him, but that nigga's a turncoat. And there's something very unsavory about him. I know about a year or so ago, I was speaking to one of my sisters and her husband's from South Carolina. There were some charges surrounding Charlemagne the God and him harassing young women and forcing himself on young women. Then he gets out here and acts like he's the black messiah or something. I am so sick of that nigga, and I wish he shut the fuck up. He does not have the right to question anybody's blackness. No more does he have the right to tell everyone who to vote for. For those of you who listened to him, the last presidential election, look what the fuck happened. Look what happened. Because again, if I would have been interviewing Mr. Biden, which I wouldn't because he's a lame, but if I would have stopped that white man right there and I would have told him, you don't get to decipher who's black and who's not, whether they agree with you or not. I've never seen someone, well, actually, I take that back. I have. This is my problem with a lot of black people of today. You won't call these other races and white people to task, but you're quick to put another nigga on the chopping block. I don't respect that shit. Larry Elder, arguably, with his intellect and things, could very well run this country Republican ticket or whatever he chooses, independent or whatever. That black man has the credentials, the family to back him, and he actually is what a lot of black men should want to reflect. I've listened to Mr. Elder at different points in the last 10 years and talking about some of the men he grew up with. Because I believe Mr. Elder's in his late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in there. He'd be around my parents' age. And Mr. Elder said the same thing I say. A lot of black people run around here acting like racism is the reason they don't have shit. No, the reason you don't have shit is because of your life choices. And a lot of older black people, like, okay, take for instance, my mother and father. My mother and father are both passed. My mother would have been 63 this year, my father 65. And I look at a lot of the people their ages, and I look at my parents and what they went through and the way their lives came to an end. A lot of people from those years, the 50s and 60s, don't have shit because they were spoiled brats and were given too much. See, black people won't tell young black people that shit. I remember my grandparents' generation. I remember my parents' generation as young people. And a lot of black people, the reason they blame white people and systemic racism and all this other shit is because they fucked their kids and grandkids, truth be told. I had said in a past video, during the crack epidemic on the East Coast between like 85 and until 89, let's say those 4 years, I watched as a kid so much wealth and the morals of the community and the community itself, the streets and things, change almost overnight. And I remember not just my grandparents, the old people of the time happened to raise people who are my age and different things now because my parents' generation was so fucking selfish. They couldn't think about anybody but themselves. Now we're almost 40 years away from that. And the best old black people can do is talk about systematic racism. Then you got middle-aged people like myself and Charlemagne the God, some of these momos that'll sit here and co-sign that shit. Racism exists. I'm not here to debate that. What I am here to debate, two things. When all this calling racism when it's not appropriate waters down when it is appropriate. If something terrible happens and it is racist, it makes it very hard to have a good argument if everyone's calling everything racism. Secondly, racism and systematic racism and all that stuff has always been with black people, but it hasn't been till the last 60 years that it really took hold. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Between welfare, the drug epidemics, and the change of morale in the black community, that's why you see a lot of shit you see now. That's why you see a lot of shit you see now. And black people don't want to hear it. They want to blame everyone else for their ails. And systematic racism, to a degree, I agree with it. But I'm like Mr. Elder. A lot of that shit could be overcome. Because conversely, when I get where I'm going in this whole social media internet thing, I know it's going to be a white person who opens the door. Yeah. Yeah, y'all play that game and shit like white people don't have can't help you get where you're going either, because they can. It's not going to be a black person who do it. It very rarely is. And older black people, they love talking about the civil rights era, slaves. They love all that shit. But they don't like to talk about the shit Mr. Elder talks about. You know, their peers, my parents' peers, Mr. Elder be their peers. They don't want to hear that shit. Mr. Elders that told stories of his friends who blew opportunities when they were young people. Now that they're in their 50s, 60s, telling the young people of today it's systematic racism. That's why they ain't got shit. That's so far from the truth. I look at a lot of these older brothers and sisters here in Philadelphia. These 60-somethings walking around. The women with their asses out and eyelashes. They curse, they spit. And these are older women. I'm not talking about nobody young. So young people, this is not for you. You got your 50, 60-year-old black men that get on city buses with their fucking $5 Family Dollar speaker blasting music at 7 in the morning. You got the old black people from sun up to sundown buying their $2 bills and their rocks here in the hood or whatever their drug of choice is. And those same black people will sit there and say, it's white people. It's this and that. It's not. Mr. Elder's absolutely right. Like he was right checking that lame ass nigga Charlemagne the God. Because Charlemagne the God, BLM, All these niggas that act like they're for black people, they are anything but. These motherfuckers are around my age. I know they're a sham. I hope Charlemagne's 15 minutes of fame is up because he just makes my blood boil. He has this arrogance like he's oh so fucking smart, like he know like he's the voice of black people. None of these niggas is a voice of black people because we're diverse people. None of these people are leaders. The only leaders in the black community should be mothers, fathers, grandparents, and I'll take it a step further in the community, clergymen, teachers, and older people. And I would say elders, but in the black community right now, we're going into somewhere I've never seen, where we've never been before. We have a bunch of crack addicts becoming our seniors. So it's a little harder to respect them. And in my right mind, I think you should. But most of our elders should be like Larry Elders, sounding like him, because he's like me. I remember when y'all niggas have money. This ain't about poverty. This is about morals. And no, Charlemagne the God should not sway how any of you people vote. He's not even all that intelligent. He's not even all that smart. I don't know what he was running from in South Carolina, but he's not all that intelligent and gonna say, please don't run again, Mr. Biden. Hey, I want President Biden to run again. Now, mind you, I didn't vote for anybody on November 3rd because my father died on November 3rd, 2020. And I'm an independent now. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not affiliated with either because you niggas about to make the Republican Party corny and you still don't even understand all the parameters of being a Republican. Y'all just doing the shit because it's fashionable. I want to see President Biden win again because this is what you all asked for. Now all you niggas talking about, oh, Trump this, Trump that were calling me all kind of house niggas and shit. All you Charlemagne God ass niggas spitting on black people that originally supported Trump and all them videos and shit. No, you niggas get what you deserve. And if you're foolish enough to listen to Charlemagne God, well then again, I don't really care who wins. Because even if Trump gets to office again, it's not going to be like you niggas think. All this shit is a setup. All of it. And my dad died made me really open my eyes. All of it. But I hope you do get Biden again. Because you ain't black if you don't vote for him. Charlemagne God co-signed this. Because much like niggas in the hood with these Arab stores and Korean stores, I had an experience earlier tonight. Much like in the hood, when black men should be standing up to different ethnicities of men, they go with their tail between their legs, just like Charlemagne the God. Just like in any hood. That's why you can walk into these Arab stores, Korean stores, and they're overcharging the women, beating the children out of their now later money, and very few black men say a word. And if they do say a word, it's, oh, he cool and he family. These Koreans, Dominicans, Africans are much like Joe Biden. They're not your friend. They just want your vote or money. That's what the fuck they want. And most of our men are like Charlemagne the God. They're always cool with the wrong fucking people. You people vote for who you want to vote for. Who's going to do right by you and your loved ones in your community. Not some asshole radio host, second tier radio host that led y'all into this mess in the first place because he was instrumental in getting that nigga voted for and elected. Instrumental. Him and Cardi B. And now both these people are sitting here complaining about the economy, but they are the ones that helped make it this way. Both of them. This is why I said, and I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want this to go too long. Think for yourselves. Always keep in mind, no matter how much I like a music artist, movie star, whatever, these people aren't real. And in reality, these people need people like you and me. We don't need them. If Charlemagne the God was to die tomorrow, who cares? They need us. They need our money. So at no point in time should any of these so-called celebrities sway what's good for you. Do your own reading, do your own research, and vote for who's good for you. And Charlemagne the God, if this makes it to you, can you please shut the fuck up and take that eyeliner off, you lame ass nigga, and take that shit back to South Carolina? On that note, guys, I'm out.